MovieWeb.com.
This film has the strongest ensemble performance I've seen this year, hands down. And I'm a pretty hard critic. I never ever cry in films. I haven't cried in a film in years. I wept in this film.
Oh my God!
And some of the pivotal scenes, and it wasn't melodrama or anything like that. It was truly emotionally moving. So my question to you, as a director, when you have all these people in your cast, right, and two of them being European, Paul Bettany and Sophie, how do you get them to interact with each other in such a way where they're not stepping on each other's toes or trying to overact, but everyone's hitting the right mark? How do you motivate these people?
Well, I think it starts with the script and then the actors that you get. I've been really particular lately about who I work with. I just want people that respect the craft of acting, and that's not always the case. And this was a great group of people. It was intimidating at first before I stepped on set because of, Paul and Sophie, the London thing. There's just a different vibe to their acting. They just go so deep into it. And then having Alicia and Jennifer, who are newer to the game, and the Dakota and Latifah, who are vets. Like how am I going to get that all working as a cohesive piece? And the great thing was a mutual respect among them. We had very minimal rehearsal time, and I think that may have actually helped too, because everything was just raw and out there. And you get to know about who you should focus on first, who needs a little more time to warm up. And the thing was, they all, again, as you said, no one tried to shine or take over a scene. And I got really lucky with that, and I think it starts with the actors.
Tremendous performances all around. I find it very ironic that you guys are filming in North Carolina, depicting 1964, where Jim Crow was being shattered and the Civil Rights Act. And I know this has probably been beaten to death with Barack Obama, challenging for the U.S. presidency. But what I've been asking everybody is, I would have never guessed in my lifetime that a black man would have a legitimate shot for the U.S. presidency. If you'd asked me that a year and a half ago, I still would have said that. How do you feel, having made this tremendous film about racism as one of its primary themes, and seeing, wow, 40 years later, this is happening now? Has society really changed? I mean, do you think that there has been a major progression into more acceptance of culture and race?
Well, it's very good to say that, because that was one of the things I talked to the actors about on set, that, 40 years ago, people were fighting for the right to vote, but many of them were saying, one day black folks will be able to vote, but not in my lifetime. And so then, as you said, about a year and a half ago, you could have said the same thing. We will have a black president, just not in my lifetime. And then, look, it's happening. And things have obviously changed. And there's actually this great quote, a picture of Kennedy that's going around the internet, where he talks about in 40 years there will be a black president. I thought that was pretty phenomenal. And things have certainly changed. The fact that, and again, it's not black folks that are putting him up here and making this happen. It is a diverse group of people, blacks, whites, Asians, and that's the best thing I've seen. Looking at the two conventions, the Democratic convention, completely diverse, and that's like what America should be. You go to the Republican convention, and they keep cutting to the same two black people in the audience. It was just depressing to watch that, and it really is, what America do you want? And I want the inspirational one that reflects everybody, not the exclusive one that's just miserable and mean, and it seems obvious to me, but again, you're looking at the polls, I cannot be that out of touch with middle America, but there is some little disconnect, so that scares me a little bit. And again, that people seem to think it's okay to say, when they're interviewing people from Kentucky or, that I just can't vote for a black man. Like, that shocked me that people feel like it's okay to say that, and that, took me back a little bit, I have to say.
Unfortunately, it's the truth. It's funny, I've been hearing the questions that you've been fielded all day, and it's always the same, wow, they're a strong black cast, and you're a black woman director. There's not really a focus on the actual skill that went into actually making this tremendous film, which I'm very, very impressed with, by the way. I mean, guys like me start Oscar buzz, and I'm going to be rattling the chains for this film.
Thank you.
And one of the things that I took from it as as a major theme beyond the race was the matriarchal theme, right? That to me was so powerful and so hard-hitting, as a man who's been raised by his mother and so on. And here's this girl who finds many mothers, right? And they really complete her in a way that she never would have really experienced if she had just been with her father, or even with Rosalind, the man played by Jennifer. So my question is, did you see that as a primary theme, or did you think like the racial theme or the love theme? I mean, what would you say is the more omnipotent theme of this film?
I have to say it's a combination of the love and this little searching for love and finding the mother inside, but also the matriarchal theme. The race, it was very important that we didn't play the period, that the race was not a dominating, overwhelming thing. It's clearly a backdrop and an important part of the film, but that's not what the film was about. And we just, especially down south, the matriarchy is everything. And the fact that, in the book, the character Rosaline is actually 40. And it was really important to me in this film to really make it clear that Lily has no motherly influence, which is why I made Jennifer much younger, Rosaline's character much younger in the film. Again, it's just, I think it's a beautiful thing that these two women, Rosaline and a young girl, Lily, can find these mothers, not just physically with the three Boatwright sisters, but also with this Mary figure, and be able to find solace in that and learn to love themselves. And Rosaline's arc is something that I added that was not in the book, of her, coming into her own by being around these black women that she had never seen before, and that Lily, this white girl coming from the life that she lived, to be able to find, as you said, find three mothers. I mean, I think it's just a good gift.
Very, very well done. Another thing about the actual filmmaking part of the movie, I thought is kind of being underrated because no one's really talked about it, is the music, right? You really hit it very well with the music, especially the scenes where Alicia Keys, her character June, is playing her cello, right? Because she's so angry about so many things, but you can tell that this is what defines her. She is a musician. And in some of the sadder parts of the film, when you hear just the unique cello in the background, I thought that was very well placed. What was your thought in setting up the music between the cello pieces and the more orchestral pieces, the actual songs? What did you want it to build up tension-wise?
Yeah, well, I had a great composer, Mark Isham, and we spoke a lot about June's cello, because I just wanted, again, you don't think about black women in classical music, it's just not a thing, and that was so important to her character, and it so reflected the Boatwrights and how they were different. And really, it starts with the first walk up when they're walking up to the Pink House, Lily and Rosaline, and they hear Bach's theme, and I grew up with that music, and that piece is one of my favorites. It's just warm and inviting and beautiful, and it really started there. And what I spoke with Mark Isham about a lot was that June is such a hard, angry woman for and for great reasons, what was going on at that time. But the cello was her way of expressing the goodness in her, and so it was really important to find the right pieces that could be true to what she'd be playing, but also feel like score as well. So we really worked hard on that. Alicia worked tremendously hard on learning that as well. And then just with the other music, it's very hard in a period piece to have modern singers and have it work. But so we really worked hard on that. Indy Iree, her voice, it's just so soulful. It's just seemed to work. We had just great people, Sam and Ruby, a new artist who did a song as well. And I really wanted the women, Latifah, Alicia, Jennifer, to have songs in the body of the movie. The studio, of course, really wanted that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was some big arguments, but I was just fearful that it would take you out of the movie. That, oh wait, that's Jennifer Hudson singing. Wait, didn't she? And it seems like, the argument would be people get over that. But I didn't want anything to take away from the experience of watching, these actors and these characters. And but it was tough, and again, the song at the end, though, Alicia's song, Love It to Death, and glad that we got that. But and then with the 60s music, it was just really important to have songs that we haven't heard in every other movie about the 60s. And, we have one Supreme song, I just love that song to death, but really dug deep to find, these gems that people haven't heard of, and the actors, again, just loved Breakaway by Irma Thomas and loved It's All Right by The Impressions, and it was just, that's the funnest part, honestly, in the post-process is music, because music, it can just change scenes, it can elevate a scene, it's just fun, it's fun.